You're listening to Beyond Wellness Radio, bringing you the cutting edge in health, biohacking, and sports performance. Stay up to date and listen anywhere and anytime on your computer, tablet, or smartphone by subscribing on iTunes. Catch your host, Dr. Justin Marchegiani, as he answers your burning health questions as well as interviews from world-renowned guest experts. For more Beyond Wellness Radio, go to beyondwellnessradio.com.
Hey there, it's Dr. Justin Marchegiani. Welcome to Beyond Wellness Radio. Feel free and head over to beyondwellnessradio.com where you can access our full podcast transcriptions. While you're there, you can also sign up for our thyroid and female hormone video series. This series goes into the root cause of why your hormones are out of balance. While you're there, you can also schedule a functional medicine consult with Dr. Justin, myself, where we'll dig deeper into the root cause of your health challenges. Feel free and think of sharing this podcast with at least one person. This podcast grows by people sharing it. Sharing is caring. If you can think of one person that can benefit from this information, please feel free and share it. If you're enjoying the podcast, make sure you subscribe on iTunes. You can also click below the video or podcast where you'll see the iTunes review button and leave us a review. You can also sign up for the newsletter at beyondwellnessradio.com where you'll get updates before anyone else. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, it's Dr. J here. Evan, happy holidays, man. We got a short Thanksgiving Day week. I love Turkey Day, man. Some time with the family, really good eating. Are you excited too?
I am. And I've got blue skies here, which is very unusual for this time of the year. We've got sunny every single day this week, so I'm super grateful for that.
Love it. Yeah, it's a great time of year. It's an important time of the year to be really grateful and to be extra particular in all the things that we have to be thankful for, because there's a lot of things, but it's easy to be so focused on everything that's not there. So we got to really focus on all the things that are there. So a couple of that is just, how about just some really good intel that we can use to hack our holidays, meaning we can still indulge and feel good and connect with our family members, but not go into a food coma and feel like absolute crap. What do you think about that?
Agreed. Yeah, a lot of our clients recommended we do this subject because they feel deprived. If they're doing AIP or some type of dietary approach, they feel like that we're the bad guys and we're making their holidays not as fun, but that doesn't have to be the case.
Absolutely. So a couple of things. If you look at Thanksgiving, it can totally be paleo, right? We have like basically the centerpiece in the Thanksgiving Day meal is the turkey, right? Awesome. Especially if we can go after the darker meat, that's going to be excellent. Good fats, right? Try to buy an organic or at least a pasture-fed turkey. Costs a little bit more, but the nutrients are going to be much higher, right? So you get good fats and proteins there. That's kind of the starting point. And then after that, you control your sides. So most people want mashed potatoes and maybe squash, which, I'm okay doing a little bit more starch on the holidays. I'm okay with that. It's better than doing, let's say, a grain-based stuffing. That's number one. Number two, we try to choose substitutes for the things that would typically have grains. What's going to have grains? Well, typically your gravy is going to be thickened with flour. So we do a gravy that's going to be carrot and celery based. And we thicken it with coconut flour if we do it. And we use the actual turkey stock from the actual turkey. So that's a huge way to get the stuffing going, the gravy going. And then the stuffing, there's typically some good stuffing recipes out there where we do a celery and carrot based stuffing, and it's totally grain free and it tastes phenomenal. So off the bat, you kind of have your starches. I'm okay with that. Number two, you have the gravy, because the gravy kind of goes on everything. So if your gravy isn't too good, you can really mess everything up because you're just basically coating everything with thickened turkey giblets and flour. And then, then after that, you have, I mentioned your starches. And then after that, you can do cranberry sauce, really, super paleo. You can do I'll do green beans and I'll cut up some bacon. I'll layer that on there too. Those are kind of my big things off the bat. And of course, a really good turkey. We're going to smoke our turkey this year. We typically use our smoker this time of year. Any other thoughts, Evan, off the bat for you, just with the Thanksgiving Day meal?
Well, my thoughts are you got me hungry, but besides that, the enzyme piece, you and I definitely wanted to talk about enzymes.
Supplements, yes.
So let's go into that. So one that you and I were talking about off air was one from Designs for Health. It's called Allergyzyme. And this is more specific to people that if they're just going to go off the rails, they're going to do or possibly get exposed maybe a cross-reactive issue with dairy or egg or soy or gluten or casein, peanuts, things like that, you can take these specific enzymes. They've got like a patented version. They call it glutalytic in there. This is supposed to be pretty helpful. And then they've got bromelain, but it's a very, very super high dose bromelain, which is a pineapple enzyme. It's a really good enzyme. So there's that. And then you and I both have our own custom digestive enzyme formulas that I say those are the best nutritional insurance policies that you can bring with you in like a little glass jar or something.
Yeah, I would say just getting enough enzymes is going to be big, especially the fact that people forget that having a meal like that is going to be stressful, not necessarily because it's bad, because obviously we're going to try to make the substitutes. We're not going to focus on eliminating. We're going to focus on substituting so we have the most healthiest options possible. But because we're probably going to eat such a ton of food, it's going to be a lot for our digestive system to handle. So we're going to really utilize more enzymes and more hydrochloric acid and maybe even some bile salts to really optimize our ability to actually break it down. What do you think about that?
I love it. I've got a small little old honey jar that my wife just keeps in her purse now. And so if we go out to a restaurant or if we go out to a family member, I'm just going to pull out those enzymes and pop them down. So that's going to be my strategy. And I think everybody who is dealing with bloating, gas, indigestion, a lot of these common symptoms, heartburn, you've got that excessive heaviness feeling. If you've already got those symptoms and it's not even Thanksgiving yet, then you're a person who needs extra care when it comes to using enzymes.
Absolutely. So we talked about the meal. We talked about maybe the potatoes or the sweet potatoes or the squash. I'll typically put some extra cinnamon on my squash too, which is great for blood sugar and the blood sugar and the insulin kind of receptor sites, which is good. I talked about the green beans. I talked about how to maximize the gravy, because the gravy is one of those things that's going to be layered on everything. So if you can fix the gravy component, and we'll have in the show notes some paleo gravy recipes. So we'll make sure we get some paleo gravy recipes in the notes. We'll make sure we get some stuffing recipes, because those are going to be the big things, the gravy and the stuffing. Almost everything else you can dial it in. The turkey's pretty good. You can do really good cranberry sauce. You can do squash. You can do sweet potatoes. You can do regular potatoes, or any other sides that we're missing.
Yeah, you hit the green beans. Sometimes peas, sometimes carrots.
Yep.
I think honestly, if you're eating real food and you just always think, am I eating real food? You're going to be just fine.
Yeah. And a couple things. Let's go to desserts pretty fast. So we're just kind of laying out the meal options, or the meal substitutes, I should say. And then we'll talk about little hacks that you can incorporate too. So off the bat, like my paleo apple crisp is something that I utilize a lot. I actually have it made once a week. And it's basically just a combination of the crust, which is going to be coconut shreds, pecans, and walnuts kind of crushed up. And it's going to be kind of layered over some Granny Smith apples that are cut up. And the Granny Smith apples are basically mixed with butter. And they're also going to have a little bit of cinnamon on them. And they're also going to have a little bit of organic palm cane sugar. And we like the organic palm cane coconut sugar because it's got a glycemic index of 15. So it goes into your bloodstream a little bit slower. And we try to use the least amount possible. So what I recommend is put the smallest amount, whether it's like an eighth of a cup or something in there, and just kind of glaze it and then mix it up, and then try a couple before you layer all the nuts and cook it, and then just see if it's at the sweetness you want. So I don't need a lot, so I just put a very, very small amount. Once I have it, typically an eighth of a cup or a 16th of a cup, I just glaze it. I don't even measure it. I just gently glaze it over, so a very small amount. And then once I have it to taste, then I pretty much put, then it's mixed in with butter, of course, right? And then I put that topping right on top there, and then 350 for 30 to 45 minutes so the apples are nice and soft, and then you're pretty much good to go.
That sounds delicious. Did you invent that recipe, or is that something you found?
No, I invented that one. That's a good one. And then if you want to mix it up too, if you want it to be more like a cake, you can do a tapioca and an arrowroot flour. And then typically you just add the arrowroot flour in with the apples, typically a half a cup to a cup of each. And then that kind of gives it that more of a thickened flavor. And then you can just bake it and not use the nuts. And then it comes more out like a cake. And that's a really good option. We have that apple cake option on there too. So apple cake or the paleo apple crisp. Apple crisp, I think, is a little bit more healthy because you don't have any flours there at all. Just the good, healthy nuts and fats.
Right. Yeah. I had a female client last week. She said she's going to make a pumpkin pie, but she's going to do coconut flour. And I think she said coconut flour and cashews maybe. So I know that there's options out there. I just don't eat too much dessert anyway, besides like a piece of chocolate. But if you're somebody who you're going to go to one of these events and you think, you know what, I don't want to miss out, well, then you just make it. Let everybody else bring the meat and the veggies. You just bring a healthy dessert. That way, you know that you're going to be safe and you're not going to cause yourself a flare up or any problems.
Totally. For the most part, your turkey is going to be good, right? If you're going to do your mashed potatoes, fine. If you're going to do cranberry sauce, if you're going to do squash, if you're going to do green beans, or we'll do like Brussels sprouts with bacon, that's typically going to be good. You're going to mess it up with the excess gravy. So if you do the gravy the right way, and then you do a healthy stuffing option. So what I recommend is, if you're going somewhere, maybe you bring some gravy, or if you don't bring the gravy, maybe you just bring the stuffing. And people won't even know. We bring some of these healthy paleo options if we go places or get invited. People won't even know the difference a lot of times. And the big thing is, for me, it's not about, oh, Dr. J, you're being, such a, so tight about this, why can't you? Well, the reason why is I want to feel freaking good afterwards. I want to eat a lot and I want to feel good. And there are great options, and I don't notice a difference in flavor. I can make my option and it still tastes just as good. So those are some good options. Anything else you want? Oh, also dessert. Just, if you're doing a pumpkin pie, you can just leave out the crust, or they have some really good gluten-free crust options, or you can do a coconut crust option. That's fine. And you can just do your pumpkin pie without, just a lower amount of sugar. That's totally good right there. Is there anything else you wanted to mention for desserts outside of the pumpkin and the apple?
I think you covered it. I mean, you could bring along a piece of dark chocolate if you're just super scared and you don't want to go for any of the more processed things. Bring a bar of dark chocolate, throw it in the fridge when you get to your family's house.
Yeah, and again, you could do pecan pie a little bit higher in sugar. You just have to make sure the crust is gluten-free. That's totally fine too. And then obviously just some really good, maybe some coconut ice cream. Coconut vanilla ice cream is totally cool. And then what about supplement options? So we talked about, number one, the enzymes HCl and digestive support. Number two, you could always add in some activated charcoal. Number three, you could always throw in some probiotics later just to kind of help soothe and relax the tummy. Number four, well, how about the approach? Like, when do we eat the meal? So number one, I recommend intermittent fasting and adding in some exercise in the morning, even if it's just a quick Tabata or just a quick little weightlifting circuit where you kind of do upper, lower, and just kind of a simple circuit for 15, 20 minutes, just something in the morning to really get the metabolism revved up. You may fast a little bit more. You may hold that fast a little bit longer than normal because you know that you're going to feast at the end of the day, and all those calories will be coming in there to make up for that deficiency. Plus, most people aren't going to be working on Thanksgiving. They're going to be relaxing, so it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. How about alcohol? You mentioned that off air. You said we need to make sure we talk about that. So you're recommending after meals instead of before meals? Save it?
Yeah, I recommend just have a little bit of, number one, there's a couple of strategies. So I may do one glass just to kind of get that buzz in my system fast. It's like, ooh, I can feel it. And then I'll throw maybe a couple of things of charcoal in. And then maybe there'll be like a shrimp cocktail out, and I'll have a couple of little shrimps to kind of get the protein and fat in there, which kind of stabilizes my blood sugar a little bit more. So I'm not going to go wonky. And then I typically just go with like a dry champagne or a dry Prosecco. So it's very dry, kind of a demi-sec, not a lot of sugar, white, and I like the sparkling. The sparkling has been shown to increase alcohol absorption. There was one study on a bunch of college students. Can you imagine this? I would love to have been in this study in college, where they gave them shots of vodka, and then the other group got shots of vodka with carbonated water, or like soda water, and they measured their blood alcohol content, and they found that the group that had the bubbles with their vodka had a much higher blood alcohol content per the same amount of alcohol. So go figure. So what's the moral of the story? You get your alcohol goes for a little bit longer of a ride when there's a little bit of carbonation or bubbles in there. And James is saying, what about Tito's? Yeah, so I'll do Tito's with my ginger kombucha and a little bit of lime. The lime provides extra vitamin C, which is great for glutathione. The kombucha has extra B vitamins and antioxidants and EGCG in there, and probiotics. So it actually helps detoxify and help your gut microbes while you get a little tipsy.
See, that almost makes me want to drink alcohol, but every time I drink alcohol, I feel like I can't comprehend simple things. Like I like to always have my brain going.
Totally.
And for me, for me to shut off with the alcohol, it's almost stressful. It's almost like, nope, my brain's slowing down. I don't like this.
Well, we should make sure the demand on our brain is less when the
Right.
time for, like, we're not going to be like opening up the champagne bottles when we're seeing patients, right? We want to make sure
Right.
our patients get 100% of our brain capacity. But when it's the holidays and we're just watching some football and our brain's like 80% off, maybe it's not that big of a deal.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, we have the activated charcoal. We just have really good quality alcohol. Again, why does it matter? Because I don't want a headache. I don't want to feel crappy. I don't want a ton of breakouts the next day. So we'll choose a night. And typically I'll just get like a $15 bottle of just really good dry Prosecco from Whole Foods. And I try to, if I can go organic, or, typically the drier ones aren't going to have as much sugar. And it's the sugar that's going to really throw you off. You can also do the Dry Creek wines. They have some decent stuff. Again, they don't have a lot of bubbles, like a lot of like Prosecco. I do that because number one, it helps with alcohol absorption. Number two, I just like the bubbles. So they don't have a lot of options with that. So I check out some of the Whole Foods or local stores that have a very low sugar, like ask for a Brut or a Demi-Sec Prosecco option.
The holidays are fun.
They are, absolutely. Very cool.
I think our next month of episodes will probably be silly just because that the holiday vibe. It's relaxing. It's like, you know what? The summertime, things have cooled off. It's time to relax, time to rekindle, time to cuddle up, snuggle under your wool blanket next to a fireplace. This is a good time of the year.
I got a fireplace in my office, so it's actually nice because I actually get to use it this time of year. So it's,
awesome.
Yeah, my dog just like, it's basically a magnet for my dog. She just kind of hangs out next to it all day. But yeah, totally. And then you mentioned a couple of things there. We talked about the alcohol. Oh yeah, so really getting the exercise component going, because that really is going to wring out a lot of the glycogen in your muscles. So think of glycogen as stored carbohydrate in your muscles, and imagine you wringing that muscle out. You're wringing that sponge out. So all of that water in the sponge, all of that glucose stored in the muscle now gets used up doing the exercise. Now, what does that do? It's like, well, it's the equivalent of going and having a nice dry sponge to sop up a whole bunch of liquid drink that your kid knocked over, right? So you can just, that sponge is going to work a lot better and be more absorbent. Think of your muscles as being more absorbent. So when you get extra carbohydrates into your body from your meal and your celebration, that you'll have a bigger sponge to soak it up.
That's a good idea. I don't know if many people will act on it, but if they do, they're going to see a really good result. Here's a question from Mike. He says, it's crazy. My Oura Ring consistently shows my sleeping heart rate 5 to 15 beats per minute higher, even after having just 2 drinks like red wine. I feel it the next morning. Any suggestions? Justin, I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Well, alcohol can drop blood pressure. So it could be your blood pressure is lower, so then your heart has to beat a little bit faster to compensate for that drop in blood pressure. That's probably what it is.
So you're thinking maybe you don't need suggestions. So I thought you might have said, just are you doing charcoal?
Oh,
make sure you do
of course, right? Like, of course, extra charcoal. We can always throw some vitamin C in there and some N-acetylcysteine, and we could even throw in, like in our lines, I would throw in maybe some detox aminos, which is kind of like your sulfur-based kind of NAC with a whole bunch of other sulfur amino acids in there. That'd be fine. I mean, I would do that. You could also throw a little bit of magnesium in there too, to help with that component. But I would just look at potentially that just being the alcohol and just do all the things to help detoxify.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I think that's everything we've hit. I don't know if there's any other pieces to the holidays you wanted to go
I would try to time up. Like for me, I notice if I have any alcohol in my system when I go to sleep, I do not sleep nearly as good. So I try to give myself like a good 3-hour washout period before bed. So I don't have, a lot of alcohol in my system. I just don't sleep as good. I literally have more nightmares. I'm more active. I move around in the bed a lot more. I had a glass of champagne like before bed like a week or two ago, and like I literally woke up at a right angle. So I was like laying across the whole bed. I'm just way more active. Normally I don't move much at all. So again, if I had that like at 7 and I went to bed at like 10, it wouldn't have been a problem. But if I'm having it right up against bedtime, sometimes it could be an issue. Plus, I don't know what the alcohol is when I go out. If I order it, I try to order it, a nice low sugar kind, but you don't have the bottle in front of you to look at it. So you just try to go off the waiter's suggestions.
Exactly. Yep.
Exactly.
I think that's all good advice. The liver gallbladder support, that's always helpful too. So if it's milk thistle or if it's your cordyceps mushrooms, there's a lot of different products that we use for liver gallbladder support. One other thing I was going to mention too, make sure that you check in with your practitioner, if it's Justin or myself, if you're taking anti-parasitic herbs, some of these herbs can get intensified with alcohol. So 1 glass of wine may feel like 4, and you might not be able to make it home. So you take a look and see what you're actually using. I know some of these herbs can crank that sensitivity
Totally.
up.
Any other suggestions, just like meal-wise, Evan? Anything that you guys are doing with your family for the holidays?
I'm going to bring some snacks just in case. I mean, we don't know the full spread because we're going to go to like 3 or 4 different events within this week, and we don't know exactly what people are cooking, what people are bringing. So just in case, I'm just going to go ahead and bring, I've got a couple of some jerky, like some jerky strips, like some grass-fed steak strips that I've got. And then I've also got a handful of macadamias. I've got some pecans. What else do I have? Coconut chips. So I'm just going to bring some snacks and just have that in my wife's purse, just in case we get somewhere and it's just like, I've been to a couple events where it was literally just like a casserole and it was just covered in cheese. And that was like the main entree. I thought, oh, there's no way I could do this. Like even with enzymes, I'd be destroyed. So, that's about it. Just be prepared, Boy Scout, have everything that act like I was going to a place that had no food.
Exactly. And again, there are some people out there where they may be really happy with their health right now. And they're just like, hey, this is a once a year thing and I'm going to just cheat and really enjoy it. And that's fine too. But, still you can utilize some of the supplements and strategies we recommended. So you at least doesn't hit you as hard. And if you want to apply some of the substitutes that Evan and I apply, and I've done it for years, that in my opinion, allow me to continue to feel good. Because for me, it's not just feeling good that day. I got 4 days off of work. I don't take a lot of time off. I want to feel good for those 4 days. And I also not want to get sick either.
Yep, exactly.
Well, any other thoughts,
Amen.
Adam?
I think that's it.
So any other plans for you this week? Are you taking some time off from patients or?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday. Yep, I'll be taking some time off. My wife, she's going to go out and participate in the consumer holiday on Friday. And I think that's about it. I'm going to try to spend some time out in the woods. I may go out and go for a deer hunt again. I want to get my own deer this year. 99% of it is just sitting out in nature, listening to the birds, but maybe 0.01% of the time an animal walks by. So really, it's just my excuse to go do some forest bathing. I may try to do that on Friday.
Love it. What's the Japanese term for that?
Shinrin
Roku. I love that, man. That is crazy. Cool. And we also have added another herb to our parasite killing line too, the Mimosa pudica. So I know we'll be adding that to our stores in the next week or two. It's just one of those things that we're kind of experimenting with for helping to kill bugs and some of the wormies. So it's something out there that if you're a patient and you want to inquire about that, we can chat about that very soon.
Yeah, stay tuned. I've gotten many, many pictures in my inbox of worms that people are pooping out from using this Mimosa pudica. I was just a guest on the Parasite Summit, which is how I learned about this formula. And tons of people are taking it now, and everybody's saying, oh my God, my stool test showed up negative, but I took this stuff anyway, and here's what I pooped out, surprise. And it's some pretty nasty stuff. So Justin and I were talking off air, like, are you going to try some of this stuff? I'm guessing we're going to have to, because we've been guinea pigs for everything else. So who knows if we've got something hidden inside.
Absolutely. Well, what a great call today here, Evan. Happy holidays and happy Thanksgiving for you and your family, and we'll talk next week.
Take care.
You too.
Likewise.
Take care.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye.
Got a question for Dr. J? Go to beyondwellnessradio.com and click the questions button. Then tune in to hear the answer. Also, if you like the show, click below to review us on iTunes. For more Beyond Wellness Radio, go to beyondwellnessradio.com.